Hi everybody, I hope you're doing well. This video is to talk a little bit about the final paper project that's coming up due in a little less than 2 weeks. This paper is called a Communication Competence Paper, and it really works to kind of bring together everything that we've talked about this semester. So this video is going to talk about kind of the three major parts of the body of this paper, and then a couple of tips for you to consider when writing it. So there are three main parts that you're going to cover in the body of this essay. The first is to identify an area of interpersonal communication that you would like to improve upon. So when you're choosing an area, make sure it's small. Don't say I want to improve everything about my interpersonal communication skills. Too broad. And make sure it's also related to interpersonal communication. Don't tell me that you want to improve on your public speaking skills, because that's totally not what this class has been about for the last semester. So choose something small that's related to interpersonal communication. You could talk about listening to a spouse, or you could talk about conflict management at work, or you could talk about your nonverbals with your friends, or you could talk about establishing or trying to start a friendship, or maybe terminating a dating relationship. So you need to talk about something that you would like to improve upon, that you would like to better yourself at, and it needs to relate to communication, interpersonal communication. So the first section of this paper is to identify the area that you would like to improve upon and give an example of a time that it didn't work well, like that you noticed that this was a deficiency or something that could be made even stronger. So the second part, or second section of this paper, is to use ideas from your textbook to try to understand why that communication problem exists. So this is important. It's like trying to dig deeper. Instead of just saying, yeah, I'm not good at this and I'll try to fix it like this. But if we understand why it's a problem or an issue, then we can really understand the root cause of the issue. So for example, maybe I need to improve upon listening to my husband. And when I'm trying to understand why I struggle listening to him, I could talk about the barriers of listening. Maybe it's that I'm being self-absorbed, or maybe that there's emotional overload, or maybe there's information overload. So those are all examples of ideas from your book that could help explain why the communication issue exists. Feel free to go through any of the chapters in the book. You can talk and cover as many things as you would like. So maybe you're going to pick and choose something from chapter 2, and then chapter 6, and then chapter 8. It doesn't have to relate to one specific chapter like the journals did. So this can really be a broad look at your communication skill. And then the third part of the paper is to develop a plan. This is a step-by-step plan that you're going to build that will help you improve on this area of communication in the future. So in order to be a better listener, I am going to do these three things. And again, it can be anything from your textbook that helps to build this action plan. It needs to be specific. Don't just say, I'm going to listen harder. I mean, what does that mean? So make sure it's specific and detailed. Something I always ask on this section of the paper is, how do you plan on doing that? So if you say, I need to improve my listening, well, I can do that through these three ideas. So just make sure they're specific and not too broad. Also, this action plan needs to be something that you're implementing now and in the future. We're not looking back to say, hey, this is what I did, past tense. This is what I'm going to do starting now, and then look to the future for the action plan. In the papers and project section tab in Blackboard, when you click on the final paper project, you're going to see a description, and then the second part is an actual outline, and I would really like you to follow that outline. It says this is what you cover in your introduction, this is what you cover in the body, and this is what you cover in the conclusion of the essay. So use that outline to help build your paper. Also, at the very bottom in that tab, you'll see an example, a sample competence paper that will help you to understand the flow and the content so that you can mirror and think through those ideas clearly. So that's a recap of the final paper project. Again, it's due in a little less than 2 weeks, so it would be a really good idea to start on this capstone paper. It's worth as much as a test, so this is a really good opportunity to bring up your grade, to score really high on in points if you follow clearly and carefully the plan for the paper. As always, send me a message on Blackboard if you have any questions. Hope you're having a great weekend. Talk to you later.